All right, Mike Heck here in Phoenix with Colby Covington. You all know this man. It has been a minute since him and I have spoke, almost 4 years since our last conversation. Colby, it's great to see you, my man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's crazy, man. It feels like yesterday we were talking every week, so it's crazy how time flies, man, but it's good to see you again and talk.
It's good to see you as well. You got the shirt on, Real American Beer. You are one of the strategic partners. You're part of the brand. The announcement was made. You made the Instagram video, and it exploded. Everyone was very excited about this. What does this all mean to you? What is this role that you now have with Real American Beer?
Yeah, this role means everything to me, Mike. When I had Hulk Hogan walk me out for my last UFC fight, we started talking about coming on the Real American Beer team, and, I just thought that was the greatest honor ever that he was willing to extend that offer to me. So, after he passed, I called Terry Francis and Chad Bronstein. I said, hey, I want to be a part of this brand. I'll do whatever it takes. I want to be a strategic advisor. I want to be an investor. I want to put my own money up. So, now I'm an investor and a strategic advisor, and, I'm a part of this 200% American company. So it's an amazing company. We're supplying so many jobs to so many great Americans, and this company stands for all the values that America stands for, being unapologetic, not being afraid to, stand for what you believe in. So shout out to Real American Beer. Shout out to Terry Francis, the CEO. So grateful and honored to be a part of this company. And shout out to, our guardian angel above, Hulk Hogan.
Real American Freestyle, Real American Beer, Colby Covington, just makes all the sense in the world. Kind of a full circle moment for all three, right? We're seeing the growth of the wrestling brand, we're seeing the growth of the beer brand, and we're seeing the growth of you just kind of diving into different things. It's been pretty cool to kind of see this for you, right? Like, if you could tell yourself 5 years ago, hey, this is where I'm going to be and these are the kinds of things I'm going to be doing, would you have believed yourself if you told yourself that?
Man, I don't know. That's such a tough question. I feel like I would have, because I believe in myself and I'm willing to go to great lengths, every time to achieve success. I'll do anything. I'd go through the fire to achieve success. But, I don't think I could have envisioned it being this perfect, being this diversified in my life now, being a part of so many great companies, in the Real American ecosystem with Real American Freestyle and now Real American Beer. So, it's such a privilege. It's such an honor. And, I want to keep working harder than I did when I was in the UFC to build this brand. I want this brand to compete with Anheuser-Busch. I want this brand to go up against the monsters and the giants of the beer industry. So I'm going to do everything in my part. As hard as you've seen me work in the UFC and in my fight career, you're going to see me work double time for this 200% American company, Real American Beer.
You mentioned the UFC and what you're up to right now. Everyone's wondering what's next for Colby Covington. We assume you're going to fight on the White House card. I know you've been kind of throwing that out there. Everyone's calling you for it. You mentioned Paddy Pimblett as a possible opponent you'd like to fight. Bo Nickal continues to call you out, saying Colby signed the contract. He has a lot of respect for you, all of that. Before we get to Bo Nickal, where are we at right now in terms of, if you had to guess right now, true or false, you're fighting at the White House? Can we answer that question?
I think it's 50-50. This is what my whole life is came to, wanting to compete on this card. This is, going to be on the South Lawn of the White House. Who's the guy that brought politics into the sport? It was me. It was Colby Covington in 2019 when he went on that mic and said, hey, I'm bringing this world championship belt to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm going to put it on the sitting president's desk. And he called me. He brought me in. And once he saw that support from a fighter in the industry, that's when he started supporting UFC. That's when you've seen after a couple years later in 2022, 2023, he started showing up at events because Colby was the one that gave him the way, because no one was supporting him, no one talking about him before until I started saying things. I said, hey, calling the Philadelphia Eagles, cowards for not accepting the invitation to the White House. I want to do what a real American would do, get that belt, bring it to a real American president. So, I hope so, Mike. I want it so much. I've been talking to Hunter Campbell, last couple weeks, and I told him, dude, I'll fight anybody. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you pick. I could tell you a couple matchups that I think are fun matchups, that I think the fans would like, but ultimately it's your business and it's your decision. So hopefully Hunter will bless me with the opportunity to fight the White House, but truly I don't know. I hope so, and I'm staying ready for it. I'm training every day. I'm ready to go today. I could fight today if it was today, but, ultimately the decision's up to the face that runs the place, Hunter Campbell.
If they offered you Bo Nickal at 185, you taking that fight right now? I know after REF5, you were like, nah, he didn't wrestle Romero. Like, I don't want to give him that shine. But now that we're here and now you're 50-50 on it, if this is what they offered you, would you take it, especially with some of the things Bo's been saying?
If that's the best that they can come up with, for sure. Yeah, it's a great matchup. How's he going to hurt me? He's not going to take me down and hold me down. He can't strike. He's scared to strike. He's scared to get hit in the face. His body is like a pillow top down comforter. You touch him in the body, he's going to fall over. I mean, he got knocked out by a Dutch grappler. I said before it was a Dutch kickboxer. I stand corrected. I did not know that RDR was a Dutch grappler. So that's even worse. Bo got beat up by a Dutch grappler, bro. You got kneed and elbowed, and you quit before the knee even hit you. So he's a quitter. It's an easy fight. If that's what UFC wants and the only option I have, then of course, yeah, I'm taking that fight. I've never turned down a fight in the history of this company, bro. You could ask anybody at UFC. I'm a company man. I accept every fight they offer me, and I just want to fight at the White House. So if I have to go to 85 and do it, then so be it. But I'd like to be at 170. Welterweight's always been my weight. I have aspirations there. I was the world champion in 2019 there, so I'm hoping we can find a big fight at welterweight.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. But like I said the last time I saw you, you put on a bit of size. You wanted to see how it felt with Luke, and you competed the way you competed. You had the success that you had, and you felt like 85 was kind of there if you wanted it. So after reflection, you feel like welterweight's really your home. But if they offer you 85, you're Colby Covington. You're not going to say no.
Exactly. Colby Covington never says no to anything. He takes the biggest and best fights. He's a company man. So if I have to go to 85, let's do it. I walk around at about 90, 95 now, so it makes sense. I wouldn't have to cut much weight. I'd feel good. I have a lot of energy on fight night. I wouldn't be a weight bully like all these other fighters in the UFC. So, yeah, I'd love that. But, if I get a full training camp, cutting to 170 is easy. If I get a full 8 to 12 weeks, that weight cut is easy. The last fight they gave me on a week and a half's notice, I had no time to cut the weight. So it depleted me and it took all the energy out. And I really just showed up for a paycheck. I didn't show up to fight. I just showed up to make weight and get the paycheck and do good business for the UFC. So now that I did good business for the UFC and, I sacrificed and did that for them, they should throw me a bone and let me fight on this White House card.
You don't believe Paddy Pimblett really has a future at lightweight because of the size, and he has to cut a ton of weight to get to 55. So you think as he gets older, he's going to have to make the move, so why not make it now? What about the Paddy fight interests you, I guess?
What interests me about the Paddy fight is obviously, we had our run-in backstage in Miami, and I was just walking by with a mamacita, and he starts screaming at me when I'm walking with my mamacita. I'm like, is that Paddy Pimblett? What are you doing, bro? Why are you screaming at me? He was just screaming like he had marbles in his mouth, and he was saying some little wanker shit. You're a wanker. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Come say it to my face. And then 4 security guards have to carry me back. There's one little girl with his finger on his chest, and he's not doing anything. He's like, you're lucky. She's holding me back. I'm like, bro, it's a fucking girl, dude. If you're that tough, come get it, Paddy. So what interests me is, he's got a little character. He's got a little charisma. He's got a little bowl cut and an English accent, so people give him a little hype. So, the fight makes sense because it's a UK versus American guy. It's going to be on the 250th anniversary of America, since our great independence in 1776. So it makes a lot of sense, a foreigner versus an American on American soil on White House grounds. So I think it's the biggest and best fight we can make at 170. And just like his doctors told him, he literally had a doctor checkup a couple months ago, and the doctor said, Paddy, dude, you need to stop cutting all this weight. Like, your organs are going to fail one day. They said he had to go to the hospital. His organs were failing from cutting weight one day. So it's not like I'm trying to pick on him or he's a littler guy. He weighs more than me. He says he walks around at 200. I walk around at 190, 195. So we're similar size. Let's make the fight happen. It's the biggest and best fight we can do for the fans. And I just like the fight because he's got some interesting characteristics.
Last thing I want to ask you, you competed at REF 5 is a very big deal. You're here at REF 6. I assume REF 7, 8, 9, 10, at one of those events we're going to see you competing?
Absolutely. You're definitely going to see me at the next REF 7. And, I'm going to be headlining in Tampa, hopefully. We got a couple opponents in mind, so we're just trying to get the weight contracted out, but I'm definitely going to be there, and I'm going to be at every RAF event. This is my motivation now, Mike, is to build up this league and to compete against the giants of the combat sports leagues. Real American Freestyle is such a great company run by such a great CEO and Chad Bronstein and Izzy Martinez and Eric Bischoff, just such legends of minds and visionaries for this sport. So, I'm thankful to be here, and, I'm going to build this company up. I'm going to put all my energy. I still got a couple of years left in my prime, and I feel great. And, I'm going to put all my prime in my last competitive years into RAF.
Is GSP one of those potential options? You called for that one. That was a terrific call out.
Yeah, GSP actually, he might be in attendance at RAF 7. I don't like to give out spoilers. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this I'm sorry, Chad. Don't kill me when I get off this interview. But yeah, we might have GSP in attendance at RF7 in Tampa, and he's expressed interest. He wants to compete against me. He's still got that competitive fire, and you see how he looks. He's still in great shape, training hard every day. So let's find out who's the #1 takedown artist of all time in the welterweight division. GSP's #1, Colby Covington's #2. Let's find out who's #1, GSP. Plus, we already know all the beef we got, USA and Canada. We saw what happened at the Winter Olympics when our hockey team smashed the shit out of you guys. So come get some revenge for your Canadian team, GSP. Come see the American champ.
I mean, I don't know if we can top that. So thank you, Colby. We'll see you obviously at RAF6 tomorrow, and make sure you check out Real American Beer. Colby Covington, a big part of that now.
Brother, thanks for having me, Mike.